Catchy, huh?
Yeah.
Construction season, the Twin Cities was covered with orange cones and barrels, especially in the West Metro.
Yeah, and some still out there. Some drivers say this year was the absolute worst when it comes to construction-related traffic. Alicia hit the streets to find out in this week's Metro Spotlight.
Another weekend closure for Highway 100.
A weekend full of closures.
Highway 100 has a
St. Louis
closures in the West Metro. You've heard me countless times, sounding like a broken record. Closure after closure.
No matter what area of the cities you're in, you get stuck in traffic, and it's usually construction related.
Drivers in the West Metro still feeling the impact.
This road with the detour with what's going on 100 and stuff is just, it's bad.
100's terrible right now. There's a lot of the exits that are closed off.
As one of the most congested freeways in the metro area, Highway 100 is still a work in progress. And even further in the West Metro, work on 494.
We've opened it up for the winter, and actually in the southbound direction, the part that they were working on this summer is actually opened up to 3 lanes all the way down to 55. So we've gotten a lot of compliments.
Despite the praise, MnDOT's West Area Manager John Griffith says they've received hundreds of complaints, specifically about both the Highway 100 and 494 projects.
The 2 big reconstructions side by side, both north-south routes, I think that probably has impacted folks more in the sense that they don't have a continuous commute down one of those. Obviously 169 is taking a brunt of that.
And to add fuel to the fire, Griffith says once motorists get through one construction roadblock, they end up at another.
I think that's been frustrating as much as our projects, is that those local projects and people feel that we haven't coordinated, but we have as best we can.
Local businesses like AAA Minneapolis along the 100 corridor have felt the impact of construction, but tell us, as for many Minnesota interstates, bridges, and roads, it is something that has to be done.
If you look at, this stretch a year ago versus now, just based on what they've opened recently with some of the lanes, the Minnetonka Boulevard Bridge, the difference is night and day.
Although MnDOT says both the 494 and Highway 100 projects are on track, they say next construction season will look similar.
When that work is done, people are really going to be happy because both of those projects add capacity. They add lanes, they help with that congestion.
So, is it really the worst traffic ever? Well, MnDOT tells us it's a balancing act, dealing with funding, timing, and coordination with local projects. And although next year will be similar with the 2 projects, 494 and 100, they assure us it won't be as bad.
Promise.
As bad. But again, it's definitely those projects that the impact is so huge on these motorists. Well, we wanted to hear from you, your thoughts on this construction season. Here's what a few of you had to say. David says it's not over yet. Diane tells us nightmare it was. Next year is likely to be worse. Well, maybe we'll see. We'll find out. And Angie tells us, I've only lived in the Metro for 5 years, but this year construction was beyond the worst. I live by 35 East, so it was a nightmare. And of course, we want to hear from you. Join the conversation on our KARE 11 Facebook and Twitter pages. And I also had some good positive ones, though. People saying the work on 100 and 494, those new lanes are looking great.
It's probably about a 2.5, 3 hour drive up north, so down and back, probably about 5 hours on the road.
Heading home for the holidays.
Feels good to me.
St. Louis Park resident Lauren Ropes is traveling more than 300 miles to spend Christmas with her family.
It's probably going to be maybe $30 to fill up a tank.
And with the lowest prices seen at the pump in 5 years, she's just one of the millions of Americans fueling up and hitting the road. And days leading up to Christmas Day tend to be the busiest, except on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
At that time, it's usually pretty light traffic. There's not a whole lot of people going to work. A lot of people are taking it off. So probably not going to see a whole lot in terms of congestion.
From the streets to the sky, those traveling through MSP tonight and tomorrow have it easy.
The 23rd, maybe the 22nd, coming up to Christmas Eve, basically, it's busy. And then Christmas Eve and Christmas, it's almost dead on Christmas for sure.
And for travelers flying out of state on Christmas Eve,
so far so good. Dropped off by the shuttle service, checked the bag, walked in, ready to go.
Alicia Lewis, KARE 11 News. It's a call State Trooper Daniel Britz gets all too often.
It was put out as a vehicle rollover, and vehicle rolled 5 to 6 times. So wasn't sure what to expect when I got to the scene, but anytime a vehicle rolls over, especially that many times, you're expecting the worst.
When he got to the scene, what he saw was a van completely smashed, and to his surprise and relief, the driver, 20-year-old Lucas Drana of Oakdale, up walking and talking.
I was just cruising on my way to work, and then all of a sudden there was a pickup truck with a horse trailer behind it that started to lose control. Within a second or two, it T-boned me, and I shut my eyes and held on for dear life.
Lucas walked away from the accident with a few scratches, bruises, and 2 staples in his head, an outcome that would have been much graver if he wasn't buckled in.
He would be dead. There's no doubt about it in my mind. He would have been ejected out of the vehicle. Every single window in the vehicle was broken out.
And I would have more than likely been ejected, smushed, crushed.
For Lucas's mom, a traumatic experience. Looking back through photos of what could have been, she knows her son wouldn't be here if he didn't buckle up.
It was so much disbelief, seeing just so much destruction and being able to be there with him, and that he was literally able to just step away with minor injuries to himself, and was nothing short of a miracle.
Seatbelts they're there for a reason, and that's why I'm here.